just for the record, I left my laptop at home, so all my notes are on my phone. So if I'm looking at my phone a lot, it's not because I'm doing something else, it's because that's where my notes are. So with that, first thing we need to do is approve the minutes from the October 9th Planning Commission meeting. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's with the correction.
Yes. The minutes as posted. Any announcements from the commissioners or any changes or additions you'd like to see on the agenda? If not, we will call. Oh, we have, I guess the first thing is to request to approve the 2026 Planning Commission meeting schedule, which keeps the dates as the second Thursday of the month, but they're all laid out for the 2026 season. Have a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. Mr. Schoen.
Good evening. Thank you. Before I get started here, as you can see, we have a number of continuances. So I'm going to ask Karen what the January date actually is so we can be specific.
January 8th.
The 8th. Very good. So all of the legislative items, there's a request to continue to the first January meeting, the 8th. If you want to take those one at a time or all at once. Okay, so items number 3, 4, and 5, that is the Land Development Code text amendments, considering planned unit developments, that is the evaluation and appraisal report based text amendments to the comprehensive plan, and the key SSA with rezoning. All of those are a request to continue to January 8th.
Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion about that? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I will, but it's quasi, so I gotta wait for the. Yep. Okay.
Passes.
I didn't hear that finalized. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we would need to move into the quasi judicial items. We do have a continuance, and then we do have a new request for continuance as well. So, do we need to swear first?
No, not for just the continuances there. When we actually get down to some testimony, we'll do swear them in there.
Perfect. Okay, so item number 6, the Burkett rezoning. We have a request to continue also to the January 8th meeting. This is a staff request based on some additional documentation we've requested.
Do we have a motion to continue this?
I move we continue it.
Second.
Any discussion from the commission? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I abstain.
Okay. I always say abstentions except this time. Okay.
Okay, number 7, we have had a late staff request to continue this item as well to the January 8th meeting. There are just a couple of items that we just need to really iron out before staff feels comfortable moving it forward.
That's for which item?
Number 7, Tucker Bayou, PUD.
Okay, do we have a motion to continue?
I move we continue item 7, Tucker Bayou.
And before we go for Mr. Hall, is that your project? Yes. Did you have any issues with the continuance?
Steve Hall, SK Hall, PA. We have no objection to the staff's request.
Okay.
That continuance is date certain.
To the 8th meeting as well, please. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor signify by aye. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jim.
Second.
Yeah. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Anybody against that? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Very good. So that will bring us to our first quasi judicial item, number 8.
So you're right. Does everyone need to be?
Anybody who's going to be representing the applicants, any staff members or members of the public that may wish to provide testimony on this matter, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay. For the record, Stephen Schoen, SCHOEN, I've been sworn. Item number 8 is the Bay Grove Road Flex Space. This is a request to approve by final order. It is project number MAJ 25-000055. It was reviewed by Miss Ayanna Reed, and I will ask her to introduce it for you. Thank you.
Good evening. Okay, this is Bay Grove Road Flex Space and a request to approve by final order, project number MAJ 25-000055. This is a major development application submitted by Baker's Engineers LLC on behalf of FM 331 South Property LLC, requesting to develop a 50,625 square foot building where 2 one-story buildings would be under one roof. That will be divided into several units for leasing, along with tenant space for a variety of general business uses and storage on 5.06 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use of commercial and a zoning category of general commercial. The property is in District 1, located on the north side of US Highway 331 South, east of Bay Grove Road, and adjacent to Rollin Boulevard, and is identified by the parcel number in your staff report. May I enter the staff report into the record? Okay, I'm not sure if I can say that, because with magistrate, I'm not sure. So, okay, yes, thank you. Let's see here. So this property is projected to generate 80 new trips. There was some correspondence with the applicant regarding the stormwater. I'll give her an opportunity to discuss that a little bit more. The access would be via Bay Grove. We also did receive a letter of opposition, one public comment regarding this project last week. The proposed intensity of the site would be almost 50%. The structure height is about 25 feet, and the floor area ratio proposed is 22.9%. Did I say 50 feet? I meant 50% impervious surface area. It's not in a flood zone. There's very little impact to the wetland area, and staff believes that this will be consistent, that this is complete and consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development code. So do you have any questions or concerns?
Any questions for Ms. Reed at this time?
Do we have a copy of that letter? I didn't recall seeing that.
Yeah, that was just uploaded to EnterGov.
Oh, just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in our packet.
Okay.
I think no other comments at this time. We'll
Okay.
hear from the applicant.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Baker from Baker Engineers. Just to give you a rough overview of some of the key points of this project, it is on 5 acres. A little over 1 acre of the site will be a wet detention pond, which will provide 2.32 acre-feet of storage that will provide treatment and storage for up to a 100-year storm event. So we are providing for a 100-year storm event. As a bonus to that, the property owner is going to put in true grid pervious pavers at the parking spaces. So those, I didn't count for that as storage, but there's 8 inches of storage under that. It's like it goes through the parking lot down into some gravel sand mix, so it provides extra storage of about 17,000 cubic feet. So that's just an extra, I didn't count it in the calculation, it's just a bonus. For the traffic, oh, and we did preserve a strip of wetlands along Roland Boulevard. I was trying to preserve them where they would give a little bit of a buffer on that side of Roland Boulevard, and then that's where the outfall is from the wet detention pond. So the traffic, because of the traffic generated, I had a pre-app with DOT to get this access point approved. There was an existing driveway on 331, but DOT, from their standpoint, it would be best to close that driveway and use the access at Bay Grove Road, there where there's a left turn lane, and for us to add a right turn lane. So the owner is going to construct a right turn lane at Bay Grove Road, which will provide about 300 feet of storage for vehicles turning into Bay Grove Road. And I also spoke with Mr. Chance Powell from Public Works, and he agreed that the location of access to the site was in the best location, and adding a right turn lane was, you know, an awesome idea that would be an improvement for that area. Everything else is pretty standard. We have landscaping around the project, and interior landscaping. So do you have any questions? Oh, excuse me, I got something going on there. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for the applicant? Doesn't look like it. I just want to say that through my review, I always review all the packets, obviously. This was very comprehensive. There was lots of good information, so I just wanted to.
Oh, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
I have no more comments at this time. Anyone from the audience will open for public. Yes, sir. Please come to the microphone, state your name, spell your last name. That one right there.
My name's David Kramer. I reside currently at 159 Grove Lane, which is off of Bay Grove Road, so I'm daily past this site regularly. Wanted to give you an overview of what it's like to live there and how this will potentially impact traffic at that particular location. One of the things I wanted to ask that you could ask of staff and or of the applicant is, do they have and did they do a warrant study for traffic on this? I feel that the 80 count traffic, I'm not an engineer, but I feel that the 80 count traffic is slight given what goes on there. My suggestions are that please require that the applicant do a warrant study for this traffic, just for your edification. Just down the road from Bay Grove, on Bay Grove Road, there's a new subdivision that you probably approved. It was called Bay Oaks. It's about 400 units down there. So that will generate a whole bunch more traffic in there going by this intersection, particularly. The main thing I see is, I would suggest to the applicant, I'd applaud the inclusion of a turn lane, but I would also ask that the turn lane include an accel lane onto 331, and that also that they add a decel lane on southbound 331 into Bay Grove Road. That intersection is a one-way nightmare for mostly if you're leaving Bay Grove Road and want to take a left-hand turn crossing 331 and going out. There's no stacking available for that, and in light of the scale of this particular project, it's not warranted for a traffic light. Cumulatively, with the other projects that have been added recently in this fiscal year on Bay Grove Road, I think that the county, in large-scale oversight, ought to either join in with both developers, this particular developer and the developer of Bay Oaks down there, and find out that this warrant study is warranted and make the traffic improvements to save lives. Just a personal note, I've almost been killed at that intersection. Just going southbound on 331, the traffic is 55 miles an hour at that intersection. There's no decel lane to make that left-hand turn, to make the right-hand turn into that. And this will increase and exacerbate that problem. I've sent letters to, which I don't have copies of, to the DOT regarding that they do a warrant study and include the decel lane into Bay Grove and an XL lane out of Bay Grove. So I would just ask that this board use its power to suggest to the BCC in their recommendations that perhaps a warrant study is warranted, not to be redundant. But thank you for your time, and I think also that the project was comprehensive in its study and for the little bit that I looked over. Thank you very much.
Thank
David,
you.
question for you, David. Are you referring to a signal warrant?
No, that would be optimum. I think it would be the major thing to save lives. There's been 2 traffic fatalities in the last 3 years at that intersection because of the way it's designed, and I think it's a problem. I travel it every day, multiple times every day. And when I'm southbound, because of speed limit's 55, but nobody's doing that. You all know what I mean. I mean, they're pretty much doing 65, and the light at 3280 is just a quarter mile from that intersection, north of there. So if they've got the green light coming through, especially at the rush hour times, and they're stacked 1 or 2 behind, even with the turn signal on, there's 1 or 2 stacked. I've had cars run off the road and slide all the way through the Bay Grove intersection. But I luckily saw them in a rear view mirror and stopped, in the little space between there. And just to add one more point to this traffic situation, the place where they're doing the new road through, I understand that's better than on 331 probably for DOT's perspective, not for ours as neighbors. But they have issues of, if you would go out, and you're not supposed to, but go out and do a field study at the site, you would notice that along the intersection of Bay Grove Road right there between Rollin and US 331 is completely laid down because traffic pulls off there all the time. And it's a very short distance, you'll notice, between 331 and Rollin, and those cars, everybody that's going to be, the new 400 units, I don't know how much traffic it's going to add. Plus, my subdivision, I've lived there 20 years, but we've got 10 new houses in the last 365 days just on Bay Grove Road. Traffic's increasing, and I'd like us as a county and as a community to be ahead of the problem and not more of a cause for the problem. Thank you. Any other questions?
No. Any more questions for Mr. Kramer?
Thank you.
I think that's it. Yes, ma'am. Please come to the microphone, state your name, and spell your last name.
Hi, my name is Kim Bellino, Bellino, and I want to thank you all for hearing me today. I live in the development, Brandon Oaks, and I came out here to get, I've been here for a long time. And I believe that the building that you're planning to put in will cause increased traffic. It's going to take the buffer of sound from 331 away from our development. Rolling Boulevard is our only way in and out of the development. So not only is that going to cause a problem just for Bay Grove, but it's also going to cause a problem for everybody that lives in my neighborhood. As I stated before, it's going to reduce our property values, and just having the building and a small buffer and the wetlands, I just find it unsatisfactory to all of us that live in that development. We're going to have problems not only coming in and out of Rolling Boulevard, but you also have to take into consideration the traffic that's on Bay Grove Road and the people that live there as well, and the new development that's going to be going back there. So I'm really against this, and I really want to thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Come to the microphone, state your name, and spell your last name.
Hi, my name is Merlene Chester, Chester. I live at 717 Tropical Way, and live right next door to Rolling Boulevard. That's not even a road. I don't know what they're gonna do. We come in on that road, the traffic's gonna be impacted, I don't know how much. And the noise, and like she said, it's gonna put a property. I'm just totally against it. Thank you for having us. I don't know what else to
Thank
say.
you. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Robert Rogers. I live at 115 Bay Grove. I've lived there.
Spell your last name.
Rodgers. Lived there since '91. There or next door, my parents owned the property. Couple things. When the outfall on Roland Boulevard is, I did a study because my yard floods this deep every time it rains heavy. And I did all the, what do you call it? I got all the engineering for Bay Grove or for Brandon Oaks. There's two kind of E. coli's in the ditch. They considered it an environment and health hazard from all the wastewater or from everybody's yards and everything's going through there. It was tested through the county. I've talked to the county about fixing the flooding system there. Chance Powell and everybody else have been working on it 12 years. Now they're back on it working it again because I complained. The outfall on Rolling Boulevard is going through Charlie Murphy's property, and it was a 1-year pass. So they have no ability to go back and make that drainage ditch go back through Mr. Murphy's yard. So if you go down Rolling Boulevard where it turns on, where they're proposing to turn into that lane, that's the lowest part of the whole corner of Brandon Oaks and all that property, so it's gonna flood there. So that being the flood issue is one thing. The second is gonna be the noise. Third is, if you turn on Bay Grove, that's an acute angle. They're talking 90 feet to turn into that into that building. If you have an 80-foot, 70 to 80-foot 18-wheeler pulling on there with that acute angle, and you have 15 cars coming left and an 18-wheeler to go across the road, they've got to wait 2 lanes of traffic south. Then they have a 42-foot intersection, so they can't pull out with an 18-wheeler on the intersection, and they can't come across that 331 unless both lanes are clear. So if you got a school bus, couple 18-wheelers, and 15 cars there, you are going to not be able to pull out across that road without a stoplight. You know, and I'm not against their building. If they want to build there, great, put a light if that's what they want to do. If not, come off 331 because you're facing 331 and the county or the state already has an entryway to and from that 331. And if you look at Brandon Oaks, the neighborhood behind that, they have one road in and 160 some houses. So it's not built to code. You're supposed to have more than one road into a neighborhood. It's a private road. So with a private road, private ditches, the county have no right to fix them ditches. And then you got 160 houses coming off 20 feet, 40 feet from where they're planning on turning in. And then you got school buses, traffic, everything else. To me, build the thing. You got a roadway right in the middle of 331 that you can pull in to that subdivision, and that's why the culvert was put there. It wasn't put to come on Bay Grove Road. If you got to come do Bay Grove Road for a truck to go north, you got to have 4 lanes of 331 clear to come out of Bay Grove Road with an 18-wheeler. It's just not going to work there. And then where that ditch is, that is the whole flooding area. And I talked to Baker Engineering, and I asked them what they were going to do with that, and her answer was, we've talked to Chance Powell, and the county's going to do some kind of improvements, but they can't give me what kind of improvements because they don't know. Well, when I've talked to Chance Powell about it, the situation is that neighborhood used to have an HOA. They went defunct. Since the HOA went defunct, where the drainage system was give up to each homeowner. So the county proposed to go behind every one of these houses and put a 36-inch culverts with a drainage, but everybody didn't give them the right of way. So now they're saying, well, we can't fix your drainage. You got 2 kind of E. coli's running into your yard. All the water from every house in that neighborhood is higher than that corner road. So that's where 160 houses of water drains to, is that one corner. And if the Murphys developed, which they have, I guess, what do you call it, when you got a permission to build on your land.
An easement.
No, where they've still got 300 acres. If they sell that, then you're gonna have another 1,200 houses coming on that road right there. Everybody now, like my daughters, I got 2 daughters, I make them turn on Bay Grove Industrial Park to come on my road, because I'm going to not exaggerate, 1 wreck every 5 weeks out in front of my road right there. Espy, the game warden's mom, just had a horrific accident there. 2 fatalities in the last 3 years. 1 or 2 wrecks every month. It's dangerous. The angle when you come in Bay Grove is an acute angle. So you don't turn 90 degrees, you turn back to 2 o'clock when you come on that road at 55 mile an hour. So the turning lane on that side, state should have already put that in there, which would be great. Coming out of Bay Grove Road in the morning, it's a 15-minute wait to go left to go north. And if you put electrical companies, other tradesmen in there, you're gonna add another 60 cars at 7 o'clock in the morning leaving. If they're gonna do the road on the side, they should put a street light right there for Bay Grove Road. It's not gonna work there. Out on 331, let them build what they want. Be nice to put a fence on the back on Roland Boulevard, but any water that they're shedding off to Roland Boulevard is not county-owned ditch, and it goes to Charlie Murphy's, which is a 1-year pass that's been 7 years.
Can you wrap up your comments? Your 3
Yep.
minutes are up.
Okay. I didn't see no timer, so I was gonna
No,
let talk
no,
as long
I
as you
know,
want.
I know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this topic? Wait, Ayanna, there's another gentleman in the back. State your name and spell your last name.
My name's Jerry Moore. My last name's Moore. I'm on 95 Bay Grove Road. I'm the first house there on the left. So this directly impacts me, definitely. Since they built the industrial park right across from me, I hear the dumpsters every morning at 4:10. I called them because I have 2 young kids. I call them on a regular basis, and they have to change it to 7 o'clock. They do it for a little bit, and then I got to call them 2 months later because they're not doing it again. Their loading dock and their dumpster is right next to my house. I'm afraid that, one, the property value, the noise. I've been in that house since 2010, and I moved to this area for the peace and quiet. I grew up in a small town, and I love the small town feel of this place. My father-in-law ran Freeport Pet Clinic for many years here, and he passed away a couple years ago. So Freeport is very special to us, a big part of the community. My kids go to school here, and this directly impacts me. The flooding that Bobby was talking about, he's my neighbor to the right of me, has been tremendous in our area since the growth, especially Brandon Oaks, because they built it higher. I'm assuming this is going to be built up higher also, which will directly affect me. And then just the property value loss that I'll have is going to be tremendous from the size of this structure, 50,000 square feet. So those are my concerns with the project. And then also, like Bobby said, we've had more accidents at our entry point in the last 3 years than we ever had in the 15 years I've been there. I mean, you can't even get left out of there. It takes me 20 minutes because both my kids go to Freeport Elementary, and then I go to work right here at Freeport Pet Clinic, and I got to go left there. I could sit there 20, 30 minutes, and then we'll be a line of 10 of us cars sitting right there, and they'll be honking at me to leave. So I don't understand how, with this size, how we're going to get out of there in the mornings. So, and then the traffic alone in there. I used to be able to walk my kids and my dogs down the street. I can't do that anymore because of the growth and the traffic that's come through there, which I'm all for growth and small business. I'm a small business here and have been for many years, so I'm very pro for that. I just think it needs to be done in the right way and that we have proper ways to get in and out in a safe way. I don't want anything to happen to my kids. They mean the world to me, and I definitely don't want that to happen there or to get ran over by somebody. And it's going to bring through traffic too, so that's another concern. Since the park built, which I love the park, and I'm a big fan of that, but it has brought through traffic through there from them coming swinging around. And there's no sidewalks in the neighborhood or anything like that, so it's very dangerous to walk down there. So those are my concerns. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Ayanna? Oh, you had your time.
2 seconds. 331, that the state built a culvert to go into that property from 331. Why is that not being used?
Ayanna, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Just simply a correction of conflicting information in the staff report under the transportation and engineering analysis. I did say earlier from the staff report in your packet that it was anticipated to generate 80 new trips. That is actually incorrect. Well, it's not incorrect, it's not the latest information. That was from the first review. The second review that was done actually anticipates that the project will generate 36 new trips. Yes. And also to speak to, so that was the correction for the record, and to speak to what the gentleman was speaking about earlier regarding the traffic impact for folks turning onto 331. And for the board to consider, there is a condition of approval that our engineers placed in their second review letter that coordination with FDOT will be required for any proposed southbound right turn lanes. So the applicant is going to have to provide that information to us in the future that FDOT approved for that analysis and that proposal. So I just want to put that on the board.
Okay, thank you.
As food for thought.
Excuse me.
Ayanna?
What's the current traffic flow like at that intersection? So if we're adding, I think you said 36, that's on top of how many are already there? Do you know?
I don't know what the, sorry, I don't know what the existing is. The existing trips, based on what I'm seeing here from our engineers, they provided what the anticipated trips will be, but I don't have enough engineering knowledge to speak to what's existing in terms of the trips there now.
And with regard to the concerns about stormwater and maybe sewage, talking about E. coli, is there any remedy for these, or are these known problems to planning in that area?
That's something that typically our environmental engineer would look at. And if there were any cause or concern for that, then he would make those comments. But in the projects that I've worked on, while including environmental planning's review, I haven't seen anything of that nature mentioned in a project.
And it seems to me that the on-site stormwater and runoff is going to be taken care of. They're attenuating to a 100-year storm.
Right.
Plus the additional, I don't know, 17,000 square feet or
Correct.
whatever.
Yeah, that's
So-
what the applicant presented in their package.
So they are not going to add to any already problematic stormwater based on the design of their property. And so
Based on what our engineers are saying,
right.
they will not.
And if there's a problem
Right.
out there now, it needs to be addressed, but not by the planning commission. I mean, I understand that they're concerned about that and they've got flooding and that corner floods, whatever. According to the engineers planning this development, this parcel is going to be completely, I mean, you're not supposed to shed water to your neighbors. So, and they are planning to have that taken care of on their property. So I don't see from a stormwater perspective that this property is impacting the surrounding area. So.
And I just wanted to briefly touch on your comment and question. So we would not require, nor would we expect an environmental analysis to take into consideration potential, hazardous bacterium that live off-site that would not be caused by the drainage, the proposed drainage or improvements on this site, right? So there's clearly, based on comments, some stormwater concerns and issues in that neighborhood. It is fully anticipated based on the stormwater design that this site is in compliance with the code, and it will keep any additional stormwater or runoff on this site, and it will be treated on this site. So that's why we wouldn't expect some sort of analysis in that detail off-site.
Okay, but I wasn't sure if planning was aware of the problems and it was being remedied elsewhere. That
No,
would reassure us that this is going to be a,
No, it sounds like Public Works is aware of the stormwater issues, but in terms of the different flora and fauna that reside in that could be hazardous, that would not necessarily be a county concern, not from an engineering or planning standpoint. Certainly Department of Health and other folks would probably have those considerations and concerns.
Okay. And regarding traffic, it seems like a continuing problem in the county that when we have major roads with what I think are called uncontrolled intersections, or that, only stop signs, not stop lights, the whole left turn issue crossing these roads is very chaotic. Is there any plan to prevent left turns from taking place at that intersection, requiring U-turns?
So any improvements in that state right-of-way would be the state right-of-way, right?
Right,
So,
the state.
Right.
I'm sure there's been consideration in terms of access on the public right-of-way that the county maintains, but other than that, we would not really be able to control the improvements in that state right-of-way.
And the state, they do receive notification that these projects are under our review, but I have not received any email or questions or concerns from the state on this project specifically regarding improvements as it relates to the project. Okay. I'm sure if there was, that they would reach out.
A separate issue, if you're done with that line of questioning, I just wanted to raise something else.
Sure.
Okay. So there's not a buffer required in terms of the Rollins right away. I just looked at the site, and there does not appear to be any proposed landscaping against that right away. I would request of the applicant and owner to provide some additional landscaping there. It wouldn't need to meet the standard in the code for any buffering or anything, but I think that would serve to be a gesture of good neighborliness for some of the folks that have to look at the development. Again, I'm not requiring it. I'm not asking you to condition the DO. I would just, I'm personally requesting as the director of planning that the applicant and owner consider installation there. So, thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple comments. I know a lot of people are concerned with it. You can come up.
I just had
I was just going to say.
I just want to have a few points of clarification, if that's okay.
Okay, well, I was going to make a clarification. Everybody's concerned about traffic on 331, but we don't have any jurisdiction over right turn lanes or stoplights, or, it's only a matter of.
You're correct, but I just do want to let everyone know that we did apply for a right turn lane and design it and get it approved. So it is completely approved by the state. The only thing, they just gave us a notice of intent to improve because he doesn't have the bond yet. He didn't want to obtain the bond until he gets his DO. So the actual design and approval for the right turn lane is done. So that
that's a right turn lane that's
going from southbound 331 into
Bay
Grove Road. So it provides 300 plus feet of storage for anyone who's coming from that red light that they were talking about. They come down, they have 300 plus feet of storage turning right to get them off of the highway. So if there was a vehicle turning left into this development, you would still have that extra storage space going back. This is about 140 to 160 feet from the pavement edge to the driveway edge. So you have all that storage area plus the turn lane storage area. And plus, there is a left turn lane that comes in there that has storage too. So from the DOT's perspective, just looking at this intersection, it met all the criteria. The county had me go a step above and do a whole intersection analysis and a level of service analysis. And the reason the traffic changed is because I got updated concurrency spreadsheet from Andrea Ward. So I used her numbers because those are any projects coming up, they should have in there. And then also at the exact same time, ITE, the Institute of Transportation Engineer, revised with the 12th edition their statistical analysis. So I had to update everything and just change the numbers. Sometimes that happens. It can go either way. So that was just what I wanted to clarify about the traffic. Stormwater, I think we all understand it's a 100-year storm event. So it's a massive improvement. We're capturing everything and storing it, and it treats whatever comes off site. So it's going to leave in a slower and better condition than it was before. landscaping. I did leave because the stormwater swell kind of goes across Rolling, like it's adjacent to Rolling. I've got like 6 to 10 feet there that I can, and most of it's at least 10 feet, so we can definitely add some landscaping there. I think that's a great idea. So that's all I had.
Anybody have any other questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I'm curious, so the state would not allow you to have direct access to 331? Is that why you're doing it off
Well,
of?
they said if I did absolutely have to have access, to move it all the way to that corner if possible, and maybe they'd look at it, maybe they'd approve it, maybe they wouldn't, and that they really wanted it, because if someone were to take a left going into Bay Grove Road from that left turn lane, now you can't access it from Bay Grove Road, so they have to do a U-turn. So they have to U-turn in from everybody who's trying to take a right off of Bay Grove Road. So that creates a conflict. So DOT doesn't like conflicts. They like to have as few access points as possible, and they also have spacing criteria.
Okay, thank you.
At Bay Grove Road, there is a left turn lane. It's a, I guess I'd call it a three-way intersection, but it does
It has
have a
left-
median break there at Bay Grove Road. I thought it did.
That's where the median break is, and it's about a 500-foot long turn lane.
I've had that with DOT. If there's a side road access that can be used more often than not, they want you to use that.
Especially with
rather
it that
than
close.
tie into their road, right? And it avoids conflicts coming out of Bay Grove with your driveway as well.
So it's a safety issue for them.
And you did the intersection, the right-hand turn lane, left-hand turn lane analyses that the county requires.
And the state required it
Right.
as well, yes.
Okay.
Any more questions for the applicant?
Unrelated to all this discussion, I can't really tell from your site plan, but you have the foundation plantings in front of the building. Is that correct?
Oh, the landscaping foundation, yes.
Yeah, that hasn't come up for discussion. I just wanted to
Yeah,
see
like
if you
at least
make sure you had it.
50% of the front facade is landscaped.
All right.
With shrubs. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I only have, one more comment, that it is zoned for this. And, I mean, I realize there's residential beyond this, but this particular parcel is zoned for this use, and it does meet the comprehensive plan and land development code. So,
Yeah, there's several things that kind of would be a condition for approval, but it looks like they've already been addressed. I mean, I'm a little confused on that. I mean, the landscape, that's already been looked at or reviewed by the applicant, and the applicant has committed to do that along Rollins Road there. So I'm not sure that needs to be a condition or just.
Well, it's not on the plan now, so we
Yeah.
probably would have to condition it.
That's what I was thinking.
But I mean, the geometry of the site is what it is, and it's unfortunate that, I guess, that northern side of the property is as narrow as it is and as close to the intersection as it is, but that's the geometry of the property. That said, I'd make a motion to approve with the condition for the landscape plantings along Rollins Road.
is there a second?
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. To move to the BCC with a nod. Next item, agenda item number 9, Mr. Schoen? Jim?
Just want to make sure that, or remind the committee that it's going to the ALJ.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. My bad. It's a new process. I'm still getting used to that.
I understand.
Does anyone remember what that stands
Law judge.
Yeah, so it was approved to go to the next stage, I guess. All right. Next item, the Holiday Inn Express.
This is a request to approve by final order, project number MAJ 25-0004.
No.
I mean,
00053.
53, thank you.
I'll help you.
It's been a long day. This is a major development application submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineers on behalf of Sunrise 850 LLC, requesting to develop a hotel with 104 rooms on 2.57 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use of mixed use and a zoning category of village mixed use. The property is in District 5, located on the north side of US Highway 98 West, approximately 0.195 miles east of Don Bishop Road, and approximately 0.249 miles west of intersection US Highway 98 West crossover and Musset Bayou, and as identified by the staff, by the parcel number in your staff report. May I please enter the staff report into the record?
So entered.
Okay, thank you. Okay. One moment to see if there's anything that I believe the board should be considering. Okay, so the proposed development, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to generate 52 PM peak hour trips, 27 entering and 25 exiting. A turn lane warrant was performed for the eastbound right turn into the facility and was found to be warranted. So that's been incorporated into the plans to mitigate impacts.
Westbound.
Westbound? Oh,
I'm like,
apologies.
what?
Westbound. Correction for the record. This is to accommodate the 25 and 100-year storm and 3-day critical events. There's 2 access points. One is via cross-access location on the east side, and that is compliant with our land development code. The intensity that's being proposed is 65%, which is lower than the impervious surface area or intensity of the zoning district. Floor area ratio is 50%, which is lower than 200% that's required under the zoning. Very little impact to wetland areas, and the allowed ISR and FAR for projects that are on parcels that front 98. This project did go through DRB review. There was a condition that was placed by the DRB based on a verification of their color palette. Their proposed color palette needs to meet the standards of the Munsell Book of Color. So that's something that we will have cleared up prior to this going to ALJ. Besides that, I don't have anything else that I would like to bring forward. So do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Ms. Reed?
What's the height of this proposed building? 4 stories?
Yes,
Isn't that
50 feet.
isn't that above anything that's anywhere near there? I mean, that's,
Well, according to the zoning for village mixed use in this development, the requirement is 50 feet per the code.
and 4 stories is, Dean?
4 stories is allowed.
It's how many feet usually?
50 feet.
50 feet.
Well, it can be 4 stories or 50 feet.
Same thing, huh?
They're
Yeah.
whichever's the most restrictive of the 2.
Okay. And egress, ingress to this property, didn't I read somewhere where the owners of the strip mall where Don Pedro's is at, has given them permission to use their access?
Yes, there is a cross-access easement there, so they would have had to agree to that.
And the main entrance to this property will be onto 98,
Correct.
and the traffic flow at 98, especially if you look at Sugar Drive, we're adding 150 apartments there on the corner.
Mhm.
And then right past that, if you go east, there's another, I don't know, 300 apartments that are nowhere near full. So whenever we start filling all these properties up, the traffic on 98 it's already unbearable. It's going to be extremely unbearable. So I don't, where you came up with these numbers, or not you, but the traffic engineer came up with these numbers, seem awfully low, unless they're just not going to have that many people staying at the Holiday Inn Express.
Well, and I think those are valid questions. It's definitely more of an internal conversation that we need to have with our engineers to understand more about why they're getting numbers that might seem to be low for the area. But we have to remember where this parcel is located, right? It's along a high-capacity highway. We are limited, as the chair mentioned earlier, in terms of our review because it's out of our jurisdiction. Most of this question and concern would have to come from the state. And as I mentioned earlier, I have not received anything from the state regarding concern for the project. So at the most, we are limited to right-of-way, which our engineers are looking at, and access within the site design.
Yeah, I mean, there's also an issue with, there's a church right across from this.
Mm-hmm.
And on the weekends, especially on Sunday mornings, there have to be police out there directing traffic. And I don't know how that's going to play out with 104 units across the street. That's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it will be. And I mean, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, but based on the comprehensive plan today as it is written, this is a commercial corridor.
Right.
So moving forward, we should expect,
And probably
likely more
less
trips on this road. So
less than a half a mile west on
Right.
98 will be another hotel going up right next to Los Rancheros.
Mhm.
They're already digging that property up,
Right.
So this just seems to be a little bit out of control, I guess, is the only way I can say it. But I guess if it's in compliance, I don't know what we can do.
I have the same concerns about traffic, because there are how many units? 104?
104.
Yet the expected number of trips wasn't 104?
Are you implying a trip per unit?
In the PM peak hour, not everybody leaves.
Yeah, that's
That's
But
it's
I
determined
was-
by ITE.
Right.
It's not,
That-
they don't
that's-
make it up. It's
Well, it's
determined by
amazing. It
ITE.
seems like for the most part, people drive in, in the evening and they drive out in the morning, and they may not, they're going to go somewhere during the day, and they're going to have to come back. So it seems like the number would be higher.
But it's not peak hours as in when people are coming and going to work because they're not staying there to go to work. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the time of day, and it's based on engineering models and stuff.
Yeah, I've always hated engineering models. But,
Well, it is the one peak hour in the afternoon. It's not during the course of the day, I agree.
yeah,
Everybody in the room, at least
Right.
once will
It just
probably
seems
leave,
like
but it's
we're-
the
we're-
one peak hour during the day that they look at. And during that peak hour, they're saying that 50% of the rooms will travel.
Even without this development going in, at 8 o'clock in the day, when you're leaving Sugar Drive, headed north, and you're trying to get onto 98, if you want to turn left, you can't do it. You got to go right and make a U-turn and come back. Because if you're lucky, you even get out then. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, to get out, same issue. People headed back home to, I guess, Panama City from working here down in this area. but it's a nightmare. It really is.
Well, I can't speak much to the analysis behind what our engineers are using regarding ITE. It appears in the staff report that the ITE code is based, well, the trips generated were based on IT code 310, which is associated with a hotel type of trips. So, I mean, that would have to be a question I would bring back to our engineers, and then we can address that at the ALJ stage if requested. But it sounds like Curtis might have some additional information to provide on that analysis, so he could probably speak to that better than I can.
Okay. I guess we're sort of done until Curtis, as far as traffic study, but if I might have misread this, but it looked to me like there was a wetland going right smack dab through the middle, top to bottom of this property.
Let's let Curtis address.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
have-
I just wasn't sure if the staff had gone through that and addressed that.
Give me a second to look through the staff report really quickly to see if our environmental planner or floodplain might have mentioned that. But for now, I'll hand it over to Curtis, and he might be able to address that question.
First question, what's the wetland impact? So. Welcome.
Good evening. I wanted to scream from my seat, but I have breath here. I have a lot of answers for you for a lot of your questions. I've got a presentation that I prepared. I did plan to leave it kind of brief since we don't have anyone here from the public, but you guys have a lot of questions, so I want to try to be thorough and give you some answers to those questions. So. Yeah, so this is the Holiday Inn Express. This is the prototype. That's how that works. A lot of times in these hotels is they build prototype buildings that they have a lot of experience with, and it looks similar in multiple places. The only differences here will be if colors have to deviate slightly for our scenic corridor requirements and things, they will. Roof heights and things like that may have had to deviate from their prototypes. It's a 4-story hotel on 2.57 acres. We submitted this in September, and we are well on track to meet our timeframes. I appreciate Ayanna and Stephen helping us be efficient on this project. We got TRC approval in November the 5th and DRB November the 6th. And with this board's recommendation, we plan to go to the magistrate in January, hopefully. I've got one issue to clear up on the staff report. If you would like to make a note on that, which is condition number 3 is incorrect on the report that you sent. It stated parking for 1 space per 900 square feet, which is a single family reference. I think that was probably just a error in leaving that in.
I saw that, and I was going to ask that question.
That's right.
So.
It's a reference for single family developments, so that
Does
should
not
probably
apply.
just be deleted, I think.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to ask. There, I can check that off.
All right. So if you would, next slide. Okay. So this is the location. The project site is located on the north side of 98, about 0.2 miles east of Don Bishop and about 0.3 miles west of Musset Bayou. The nearest landmark, as I've heard some people mention, is the Don Pedro's Mexican restaurant. It's located immediately to the west of this property in that strip center. Project is surrounded by village mixed-use zoning on all sides. So the west is the strip center. There's multifamily apartments on the north, and there's a vacant parcel on the east that was recently purchased by La Chulapita Mexican Market. Mr. Burgess is aware of that and has done some work, some preliminary work for those folks that I think they're planning to move their market to that site in the future. So that's kind of the surrounding neighborhood. Next slide, please. This is the site plan, the currently approved site plan. The notable items here, we've got 116 parking spaces with 115 required at a rate of 1.1 per room. So we've got 1 extra space over the minimum required. It's got your typical hotel layout with a canopy drop-off and a bypass around the canopy drop-off loading area. It's got an outdoor pool and patio area on the west side that's kind of adjacent to the restaurants and commercial over there. So one thing I wanted to note was there is a mosquito control ditch running along the north side of the property. We've used a retaining wall to stay out of that as much as possible. There are some wetlands associated with that, as well as what someone said earlier about a wetland running down the middle. That wetland running down the middle appears to be an old man-made ditch where someone just cut it through to drain water from Highway 98. We're replacing that with a very large culvert that's actually much more hydraulically efficient than the grown-up weedy man-made ditch there. So we're improving the hydraulics of that particular thing to drain 98 a little better than it is today. Total wetland disturbance is about 0.18 acres. Most of that is that ditch. It's being called a wetland. It could probably be argued that it's man-made. You know, wetland scientists always kind of get in the weeds on that. Yes, sir.
Can I get a clarification? You're putting in a culvert, right?
Yes.
Now, you're saying that improves the drainage, or does it just move water from one side to the other?
It improves the hydraulic efficiency, and I have a different aside on drainage for the site. We are significantly improving drainage for the site, but that is the drainage that moves water off of Highway 98 through the conveyance systems, running ultimately out to the bay. But it keeps Highway 98.
But,
and then
but the culvert doesn't allow water to perforate through it unless it's got holes in it, right?
Well, somewhat. They're not totally watertight, but
okay. Are you going to present the stormwater plan later?
Yeah, I'll
let
speak
you
on
do that
stormwater shortly.
then.
So wetland disturbance was 0.18 acres. Most of it's the ditch. There is a small amount on the north that is being disturbed, and the reason for that is because, and the small amount on the north is because we spoke with Public Works a few times up front on this project with some questions on whether the cross connection is required for these. We almost kind of came to the terms that it's not technically a requirement, but it's something we need to seek to have. We were trying not to do it at first because it did result in pushing the building north and just getting into the fringes of that wetland. But ultimately, we came to the conclusion that we could put a 20-foot wide cross-access road with a pedestrian sidewalk. Because there's so many restaurants over there, that's really better for the project. So we now have the cross connection. We reached out and found the owners of the strip center and have been working with them. I've actually got a construction and maintenance agreement that we're working through, because the hotel owners will be building on their property to make this cross connection, because that already exists. So they'll have an agreement that goes along with the cross access easements, that who's responsible for maintenance, who's responsible for construction costs, those sorts of things. So like I said, we made that cross connection to the west, and we also have a cross connection to the east, and the easement for cross connection runs all the way through and out the driveway on the front of this property. Okay, next slide, please. I'm sorry, that one. Yeah, so this is just kind of in a large view of the access improvements. As I said, we've got pedestrian and vehicular going to the west, and out to the west, that strip center actually connects all the way out to Don Bishop, so traffic can go from Don Bishop and get over to this. Ultimately, they'll be able to get over to the Mexican market if they do end up building there, potentially further, because there's some old homes or something that I think is being used as a business to the east of that. Ultimately, I would think that would get redeveloped at some point, and cross-access should continue on from there. So the goal in 98 is always, with Public Works and engineers, to try to cross-connect, to try to keep traffic off of 98. In addition, the transportation improvements that we're trying to make here with this, there is an existing driveway on this property, and it was about 70 foot east of the eastbound left turn lane from 98. So instead of trying to maintain that, we went ahead, we're going to demolish that access point and move it over so that it lines up with the eastbound left turn lane. What that does is it allows all the traffic from the hotel, really the traffic from the strip center, future Mexican market, or whoever may build there, they can turn and go right into the development rather than having to U-turn on 98 and add additional trips onto the westbound. So that's going to help traffic just to have a straight access to drive through rather than having to U-turn to make another right turn into the commercial developments. As Ayanna talked about before, we did a right turn warrant analysis, and it is warranted. So we're also adding additional right turn for this. So we'll have right turn available into the hotel. It's also available into the strip center, and we have left turn available. So this is about as good as it gets, short of a traffic signal. We've improved it to the maximum extent possible for access into and out of the development. We did have a pre-app with FDOT on this, and they've kind of tentatively agreed to all the things that we've done. We still need to go through the final permit process with them. In recent years, they've asked us not to do that real far in advance. These particular developers never get in this super big hurry to build, so DOT doesn't want us to pull a permit and then we not actually get it built before the permit expires. So we're kind of holding before that happens. But we did have all the meetings and then a follow-up meeting to verify that we've got what everybody's looking for. And last thing I'll mention there is we also have a new sidewalk along 98 that continues from the existing sidewalk in front of the commercial strip center. It'll be extended all the way across the frontage of this property in the right-of-way. Okay, next slide's got some traffic numbers on there. So it shows the information from the traffic analysis. Normally, so as you all are aware, I've heard Mr. Shipman stand up here and say it several times and others, we don't have a regulation that says you have to do anything other than provide the traffic analysis to see what the impacts are. We had the mobility fee. It's been repealed. That's really there to help us with transportation improvements. I don't know if there's any new word on if anything's coming down the pipeline to replace it. So hopefully we'll get there eventually. The only thing I can tell you is I've been really following the DOT's work plan on this section. I don't know if you all are aware, there is currently a PD&E study going on for widening of 98 from County Road 30A, the west end, all the way to the Bay County line. They had a meeting in November of last month, and I just went through the work plan today just so I have this information for you. They've got a preliminary engineering report and construction cost estimates due in January of 26, so they're moving on it. I would anticipate that phase one will be 30A to 331. Logically, that makes sense. I wasn't able to attend the meeting. I don't know if anyone else was, but so it's coming. It's just those things take time. So when that happens, we expect to see some improvements there because it is congested for all the way from 30A all the way to County Road 83 past Publix. It's been congested for many years. So help is coming when DOT gets to it.
Curtis, you
Yes.
you mentioned that you were looking at having access to Don Bishop Road, so you can go from the hotel through the parking lots.
It is possible. It's unlikely the hotel people would skip all the way across that to get to Don Bishop.
Well, I mean, but the point is, Don Bishop, there's no light there. So what are you going to do if you do get there? It's no different than pulling out on your.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and you're
the
just
point is, it is possible to go if anyone has the need for any of these cross connections. We want these cross connections to allow access to side roads without having to get on the main road if someone needs it. It's very rare that that's going to be needed, especially for a hotel. But if someone from Don Bishop has the need to get to the hotel, they don't have to turn on the 98 to get there. So that's a benefit.
Yeah, so that just inconveniences all the business owners that before you get to the hotel.
Well, somewhat, but it also drives traffic to their business,
Right.
I would argue. So
Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants,
yeah.
There you go.
somebody wants to go to Outcast Grill or go to
Sure.
98 Barbecue or whatever, they don't have to go on 98 to come back.
Right. And the real benefit here, with providing that cross connection after we went back and forth on it was, people are not going to leave the hotel to go eat if they have 2 or 3 restaurants next door. They can walk over there, or someone that is disabled has an ADA access route to get over there, or they can even drive their car over there and park if they'd like to. But that's also a benefit for, that sort of connection.
So there is no restaurant or bar in the hotel.
There's not, no. I mean, they may offer the typical continental breakfast as some of them do these days, but yeah, nothing like that. Let's see, next slide, please. If there's any other traffic questions, I'll take those after we're kind of done here. This slide just shows you the extents of the drainage improvements. I only wanted to bring this up to say, on this one, this project utilizes a very big and expensive, likely exfiltration system to store everything underground and perk it into the ground. Under the county requirements, originally we thought this would be a 25-year attenuation, but we later found out that was considered a mosquito control ditch in the back. We didn't originally think it was, but we met the requirements for the 100-year just by the way that we originally designed it. And the reason that it did is because we spoke about it in this meeting before, I know, but DEP has new regulations and we are there. Unfortunately, we all have to meet it now. We had to meet it in this project anyway, because there is a large part of South Walton that's considered impaired for nutrients currently. So not only do we have to meet the new standard, they make us now make it better than pre-developed. So we have to do a calculation based on phosphorus and nitrogen loading and then show a benefit, meaning we're reducing it. So this system has a lot of volume. And I just looked at the number so everybody here can understand the extent of this. Under the old requirements, we would have had to capture and percolate 4,400 cubic feet of storage before it could discharge. Under the new requirements, this system needed 13,000. So it's 3 times the amount of storage that we have to capture and treat now. That varies on various projects. I haven't seen it yet under twice as much. That's about the minimum I've seen, but some are as much as 3 times as much as the past requirements. What that means is those flood attenuation calculations that are separate, we almost meet them by default now every time because the water quality is so extensive. We're meeting the rest of them. So I was able to meet the 100-year, not knowing we needed to, just because of how extensive water quality was. So we're reducing the 100-year storm, I think, in half on this site. So last slide here is just a picture of the landscape plan, in case anyone has any questions about that. There was not a required buffer on the north, but just by the code. However, because all the wetlands were there, we were preserving as much as we could. There's even some uplands that we're preserving, plus a lot of the buffer. There's going to be about 30 to 60 feet of natural vegetation maintained there between the apartments and this site. And I put that picture on the corner to show there's some really big, dense vegetation on this site. So it will be fairly dense in what's maintained at the end. And of course, we got the extensive plantings in the scenic corridor buffer and around the parking lot as normal. So that's all I had for you. If you got any particular questions, happy to answer.
So if 98 gets widened, how does that affect your layout?
So because we're building a right turn lane, that saves money for DOT to not have to put that pavement there. They'll just overlay it and include it as part of the widening.
And then there wouldn't be a right turn lane.
What's that?
And they'd basically take away your right turn lane?
So if you've driven through Destin and Miramar Beach, it's kind of like how it is out there. They've eliminated a lot of right turn lanes to trade them for a travel lane plus right turn lane is essentially what they become.
Plus, there's a lot of.
In very extenuating circumstances, they'll add them back as a dedicated right turn, but the warrants decrease significantly when you're on a 6-lane versus a 4-lane. So most likely they would not add an additional right turn here because this isn't like a major highway coming off of the road. It's a single development.
Okay, yet you thought it merited putting in your right turn lane.
What's that?
A 4-lane.
On a 4
On a 4-lane, yeah. What I'm saying is when they improve it to a 6, it probably won't warrant a 4th lane in that direction.
I'm not sure I follow the logic, but I'll let you go.
So right turn lanes are based on volume of traffic and how much you can kind of squeeze through the funnel, the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So if you make the funnel much bigger, the warrants to trigger the need to have it go way up.
For a while.
Until
But if you build it, they will come. So,
yeah. One of these days, I'll share the South Walton land use analysis map that we've done. There's not going to be a lot more building in South Walton just based on the land use maps we've done. we're pretty low on land in South Walton, so.
Okay. And are you putting a sidewalk on that side?
Yes,
He said.
we have a
Okay,
sidewalk
I missed that.
extending
Thank you.
from an existing sidewalk.
From,
So there will now be one all the way from Don Bishop past this site, and then anything continuing further east would probably have to build one as well.
But it'll stop right now at the end of.
yeah, it'll stop there and I'll be mountain biking across.
Yeah,
the-
actually, Bayou Bills has one as the next one. There is kind of a dirt road where people are driving on it, so you could still use the dirt road.
I was, before you made your presentation, both Forrest and I bike, and I laughed at the fact that there's gonna be 13 bike spaces, because I'm like, how's anybody gonna bike to this location? And then when there are sidewalks, they just
Yeah.
abruptly end, but I understand that because there's no development, so I'm not picking on you, but that's what we were talking about.
That may be a discussion for another day in the code of, as to when bike requirements are and aren't needed, but as of now, it's 10% of the parking.
I get it.
So,
And it,
Yeah.
but it, yeah, I wouldn't bike there, but, and I bike just about anywhere, but that's 98. Ugh. So, all right,
Okay.
any more questions for Mr. Smith?
yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone from the audience wish to speak on this topic? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners.
Come on, Stephen, it's
Comments?
early. I guess I don't have anything.
Okay. Anyone have any more comments, or I'd entertain a motion?
I'll entertain a motion to deny.
Is there a second?
You have a reason for that, or you just throwing it out?
Traffic's number one.
I'll second it just so that we can move to the discussion of the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, the traffic's been met.
I agree with you in a sense, Dean, but here's my concern. We get these projects, we always talk about overall problems of traffic and flooding, and then we discuss how we think that this project is meeting their requirements. Yet, so where did we end up with all the traffic and flooding? Because none of we're not solving anything, but it seems to be outside the realm of what we're allowed to do. And I'm frustrated by that. I joined the commission hoping I could make things better, and I feel like our hands are tied all the time. I'm an advocate of the rights of property owners to do what they want to do on their property within the concerns of the neighbors. But overall, we just seem to have a growing mess. And I also wonder, well, why are these people going to come to this hotel if there's less and less beach for them to go to, as that's all privatized? So I'm very frustrated as a resident and also as a commission member.
Yeah, and this is going to the administrative judge anyway, right? So one of the reasons is that I made the proposal was to somewhat force the judge to consider what we're talking about, at least what Forrest and I are talking about. Otherwise, it's just a rubber stamp gone.
I can appreciate what you're saying, but the traffic is being mitigated to the all extents possible by installation of the turn lane. The connectivity, I have seen projects where the adjacent owner just refuses connectivity, and it doesn't happen. This essentially creates, if all property owners are cooperative as they have been here, essentially like a service road parallel to Highway 98. And those are the code provisions. They've met all those provisions. And I don't see where the project doesn't meet code, yeah, it's gonna put more traffic on the road, but every development does to some extent. And there is state of Florida's trying to stay ahead of that. They've got a 6-lane project coming up in the future that will help that out. I just don't see how we can deny something that meets code.
And I tend to agree with you, Dean. There is gonna be a incredible traffic impact. We know that. To me, 52 peak hour trips is not huge, but it is different. I mean, it is adding to the already problematic issue we have on 98. The fact that the entrance, the access to the site is being moved to be across from that left turn. I think that helps things, and the fact that it meets all the traffic that we have. I mean, maybe we need to change the rules. I mean, but for right now, what we have, it works. It meets the comp plan, it meets the land development code, and it is a good use of that parcel because that's what it's zoned for. It's not like they're looking for changes on that. So I agree with you, Jim, that there is going to be a huge impact, and I do agree that it needs to be addressed, but I think we're powerless, and I don't mean we, the commission. I think the planning department and everything is powerless at this time to make any great changes to that.
Other than send a message to the administrative law judge, which, we're powerless anyway as a commission, and we know that.
I've got a question for Stephen. You've been here a while, right? Do you, from your experience, see that the current requirements for mitigation of storm drainage are working? Are they sufficient so that none of the projects that we are passing because they meet the models, we're not contributing to the problem? Those are all, former developments that cause it?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a case where we have some just, 1,500-year storm or whatever it is, that nothing will be able to handle sufficiently. But comparative to, developments 10, 20, 30 years ago, yeah, all of the stormwater science and engineering is in a better place, and our standards are higher than a lot of folks in this area. I think we do a really good job, and the engineers do a really good job in keeping that maintained and treated on site. Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with their stormwater. So we have a motion to deny and we have a second. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Aye. Well, nay. I opposed. So 3 nays, 2 yays. So that motion does not carry. Do we have another motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? There's nobody left to abstain, so the motion is approved to move it to the next phase, the administrative law judge. All right, seeing nothing else on the agenda, I guess we are adjourned. And Merry Christmas.
I'd like to thank everyone for all the support over the last couple of years, especially Stephen and Karen, the staff. Oh, yeah, I'm really retiring this time.
Really?
Thank you. Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know if it does anything. It doesn't.
It's been great, Forrest.
Hey, Dean. At least when Trish posted, I Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and now I feel like I can go to social media and defend you. I always felt that you added to it with your experience, and, your knowledge of the law and everything, which I